Yo, what's good? I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I always start videos like that. I be like, yeah, what's good? I'm not gonna lie. Like that should be like a new thing. But I was playing Siege today, and then I was thinking, I was like, what if Siege wasn't really dying? It was the players. Think, think about it. Think about it. The players who don't decide to do anything, like reinforce, the players who don't decide to like contribute, participate, they're the ones that don't complain the most, but they're the ones who are letting the game down. And it makes it difficult for players that who actually want to play, but they have to constantly do every single thing. It's like your teammate could be a diamond. He doesn't care. He's on TikTok until the round starts, and then he complains about how this map is not good for attacking. Like, what do you mean? You know, it's like you're not even trying. So it's like it's hard for players and small players to actually try again because the higher ranks don't even try themselves. They just sit there. They just sit there and it's like not even help. Like you know more than what I know. So why are you not trying to help me? You know, there's always people being egotistical. Like people don't even use mics. You know, like people are so afraid to talk. It's like this is not Call of Duty. You can talk to us, bro. You know, and that's one thing too about Siege is like, it's not the fact that people are bad. Like, oh, I get the worst teammate. I got coppers, bronze. No, it's the fact that the better teammates don't want to like help, like even if it doesn't benefit them, it's like still help, you know, like because there's people out here who actually want to rank up and they can't because their teammates are worse than them, you know. And we can go back and forth with like how bad players are, like we can like make a whole list on how bad players are, but sometimes you just can't look at the player. You have to look at the environment. It's like, are these players well enough that they know that okay, bro, certain ranks require certain brain cells. I would say, and like certain ranks also like matter when it comes to trying to help. Also trying to be the IGL, you know, like you would want to step up because hey, if you can't win the game on your own, you might as well help your team out by talking, you know? And I have my fair share of that. I tend to hate the feeling where I have to constantly always help my teammates from losing the game because they don't know what the fuck the game they're playing. Like they're always confused on what they're doing. They're always confused on like what's going on. They're always confused on like how does things like how does point A make point B and make point C so difficult. You know, like that was a dumb analogy, but you know my point is like the game was never dying. It was the players that were dying. And you may think, well, that makes sense. You are correct, but for the most part, people were saying that, oh, if Siege brought more content, or if Siege did better events, or if Siege did this, or if Siege did that. No, if Siege did that, it wouldn't bring no other fan base, but the old fan base back, and then just we did in this new gen. You know what's crazy? The new gen of Siege is just people playing Call of Duty, literally, and it's buying skins just to show off cosmetics. And it doesn't make the game fun. Like, if you want to make a game better, you target your players, not the game. You know? If you want the game playable, you target the game, not the players. Make sense? So it's like, if you want people to keep on playing Siege, you would make the game more approachable. You would make it more, I guess, easier. But Siege isn't even easy, bro. You have to like break your back to play that game, bro. Like mentally and physically. So when you look at that, it's like sometimes when you when you tell yourself that, oh, if I try right now, if I play Siege now, I'll be good then. I don't know, because the moment you try hard, you gonna have the worst in it. Like you have the worst teammates on your side, and then have the most the tryhards on the enemy team. It's like, did I not just go try hard, and all of a sudden I have the worst teammates, but now I'm playing against fucking Bolo himself? Like what? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can drop all the kills in the world. Those kills do not help us win the game, and that's the big thing I want to push about that too. Is like, bro, you can drop all these kills if you're not trying to contribute and participate. Get the fuck off your phone. Get off TikTok. Can you reinforce site? Can you not just wait for everybody to reinforce? And the moment the round starts, you just run. Like, where are you going? Like, do you know? Like, do you know what you're doing right now? You're saying my elo. That is what you're doing right now. You're elo selling me, bro. Like, don't do that to me, bro. So it's like, the best bet when you trying to get better at Siege is contribute. Contribute. That's the best way. It's just participate. Like, you don't have to get kills in the midst of it, but as long as you know what you're doing and why, you would make sense. And like, like, oh, that's why they do that. Oh, that's why this. And like you would get the grip of it. Like, you would understand why things happen how they happen, even if you want to tell yourself, well, I know it's gonna happen, but it's like, bro, you might know it's gonna happen, but it might happen in like a different sequence. Like, you will die, but it might not. You might not die in the way that you think you might die. You know what I'm saying? So, always trying to be persuasive with yourself. Always playing slow and steady. Wanting to be the guy who takes their time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you could do that, but it takes a huge turn when our team needs you. Like, you could play slow and steady all you want, but once you play slow and steady, it's like, my guy, can you push can the momentum move a little bit faster? Like, it's a 2v5. I need you. You're still trying to hold this peak in slow walk. Like, bro, can you just try? Like, no one's there. And it puts you in a state of mind where it's like, do people even try to play the game, or they just play it because it's available? And that's what I mean. If you want a game to be better, you target the game, not the players. If you want people to play the game more, you target the players, not the game. It's like, it's being responsible. That's how I genuinely see it. It's like, if you're not responsible enough, why would people play your game? But if you're responsible, but your game is kind of shit, they're gonna want to see why it's so good, but it's shit at the same time. It's like, people complain about COD, Apex, all that shit. It's the same narrative when people say, like, this game sucks, but they still play it. It's like, how does this game make you so upset and you still play it? You still buy shit on that game. So how does it make any sense? So my biggest point and topic about this whole video is, I strongly believe Siege was never dying. It was the players. Like, imagine Black Ops 3, for example. You play, no, was it Black Ops 3 I played before? Like, a while back, yes. BO3, good example. I played BO3 back in the day, like, when it would die out. I kid you not, if I wasn't playing against cheaters, I was playing against the same exact people. Like, they would not leave the lobby. Like we all knew this game is dead, and we might as well not leave the lobby, because this is like probably the last time we see each other. And it was just cheaters, and it was just the same old people, in the same old map, the same old modes. So it was like, I could never escape them, because they were the only ones playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say too as well, if you want to make people play your game more, you target the game. So targeting Siege is in the way, it's like, yeah, bring back cosmetics, but make the game more gamey, And in a gameplay wise, you cannot make Siege more gamey because it's unique, it's original, it's one of a kind. So if you change Siege in the gameplay sense, you're gonna lose a lot of your good players. You know, you're gonna lose a lot of good people because you're not trying to structure anything. You're just trying to change. You know, like, and if you want to learn something, structure and changing are two different things. When you want to have structure, you have to change something in your discipline, you're obedient, like you, like basically, yeah, you're disciplined. But now change is like you completely go from point A to point B, and then you'd want to erase that old narrative. We don't want that. Like we would honestly enjoy the old people back from Siege, but they have to adapt now. You know, things change. You know, you can't cry about how caviar isn't, you know, a one-tap weapon no more. What do you mean? Like, things change. Like, you can't get mad that Pulse has one of the best SMGs now. First of all, it was ass. Now it's the best SMG ever. So it's like, you know, you have to adapt the good and bad. It's not just, well, this game sucks because blah, 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 blah. If the game sucks, okay, that's fine. But guess what? You're still playing it, and you're still going. Like you're gonna complain and play, complain and play, complain and play. Like it's an endless cycle, and that's what the game wants, and that's why you have so much people playing the game they play now because they complain, but they still love it. Like it brings them back. So, trying to the phrase scream and shout, let it all out. You could do that, but you're not gonna get heard. Not because you're being so loud, but you won't get heard because your voice cannot travel through all the other people that actually enjoy the game. Like, long story short, your input probably wouldn't matter. So when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna quit Siege," my nigga, Siege is not gonna change if you quit. Siege is not going to change if you don't play anymore. Now I would say this with Jinxie, he targeted he targeted the player base, not the game. So when people say he carried the game, I see that as true, but carrying the game also means carrying the players who also play the game and also the people who made the game and also the game overall was somewhere revolve around you. And the only thing he got was a fucking camo for Mew, like a SSG skin, you know. And I'm not trying to shit on him, but I'm just being straight up real. And now when you look at the aspect of trying to change players, that's what he did. Players didn't care to, you know, yell and scream and bicker and still be good. Players didn't care about rank. They only played custom matches and did tourneys, you know, like they didn't care about that. So when someone says, you know, like prime example, kids nowadays will only join your stream just to 1v1. Why? Because of Jinxie, you know, like that's like he did his role in a creator and as in a person. He put people on, you know. He didn't say, "Oh, it's about Siege. I'm gonna put people." He didn't say, "I'm gonna put people on Siege." No, he put Siege on people, you know. So, and it wasn't forced because it was enjoyable. He's not putting in your face, play Siege, play Siege, play Siege. No, he makes it look fun, so people hopped on Siege, you know. So that was my take on everything. And again, my topic is I believe Siege X wasn't really you know, it wasn't dying. It was the player base. Because again, it can only die with the players. And of course we knew that because, you know, streamers and, you know, other creators were target that like, hey, you know, peak viewers, peak players, blah, 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 you know, and like that's how the game actually dies. But when you constantly fix something, it doesn't feel fixed. It just feels it wants to be seen, like, you know, presentable, you know, like too perfect. You know, no game is perfect. Every game will have its flaws. Because people look at Siege like, well, Siege is so perfect, and you can win, you can do this, do that, blah blah blah. Look at COD now. You can do obviate movement. You can jump, wow. You can dolphin dive, wow, ADS, and you can do 360 spins while jumping, you know? that's something that people want to like, you know, hold on to because that's some shit, you know, you will see in some John Wick movie, you know? So it's like when people say, well, see, you can't jump, well, you can't do this and that. It's its own game. Literally. It is its own game. So you can't even sit here and complain about two different games. No, that's not even fair to you because you're gonna like it's not fair to you because you're gonna just not make any sense. So your best bet is just to, you know, stick to one game, complain about that game, and then compare it when you know a lot about that game you're complaining about. And that's why I say as well, I know much for me to understand Siege, to complain about it, still play it, and then compare it to other games because I know where Siege stands at, you know? And it might not seem like that, you know. I might not seem like that person that, you know, I pay attention, you know. I somewhat watch Pro League, you know. I somewhat do these things, but it doesn't mean that I'm completely tapped out of like Siege, like of like the reality of Siege, you know. And when you want to promote a video game, let's just go there. When you want to promote a video game, you're not only promoting like, you know, the cool things, the trailers. You're gonna put something in there to grab someone's attention, and that might sound simple, like duh, it's a trailer. But things with trailers, half of the times, it's not what you think it is, and it's not what you seen, and it's not like what you think it is. It's like, oh yeah, that shit's broken. You play it like in real time, it's broken now, but all of a sudden it gets nerfed. Like, you know, time goes on. It's like, why make something broken in the beginning just to nerf it like in the middle? That's how games work. That's how fantasies work. That's how, you know, that's how someone can jip your reality in a flash. It's like, whoa, why make Ash broken and then nerf her? What? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's to grasp your attention. It's to keep you playing the game. You know, it's to keep you, you know, like tuned in. Then once one small tweak changes, you have to adapt. Now, it's different now. Look at Zero. Not Zero. Look at Grim. Grim was an operator where it was like his bees. The whole B launcher was terrible. Like, it had this weird ADS, you know, the deployment, you know, you couldn't do anything but to shoot it like one time in a way. And then now all of a sudden, years go by, he's buffed. He has EMP blasts. He can, you know, make it bounce. He can stick it on surfaces now. He has multiple. It deploys faster. It pings like what, a second longer or something like that. You know, like it looks more reasonable to play because the game changed, not the players, you know. And then players love the game. And then now when it came to playing Siege, people only cared about losing because it was the rank. And if it wasn't rank, it was tourneys. Like in tourneys, you would bet money on that. So I would expect you to be mad because, you know, you can't, you know what I'm saying? I would expect that because, yeah, you know, you know, you're losing money. I would expect you to cry, get upset, and pout, and, you know, and scream and moan because, hey, I'm losing. But anyways, when you look at it in a way like Siege is just a game, you know, or are you crying, or are you bitching, or are you moaning? It's just a game. And when people live off of games like creators, for example, it is just a game, but it's a game that you have to put your time into. Not your effort, just your time. You only need your time, you know, like they're only getting paid for their time, you know? That's it. That's the only thing. And once you figure that out with creators and how you be a good creator, you would excel better. Like, the game doesn't give a flying fuck about your effort. It's gonna support you in a way that you support them, you know? It's a gimme, you know? It's a 50-50. So when you put your time into it, they care enough to make you look at them like, okay, they're actually listening, and that's why you have certain and different creators. Like you have Varsity, he's a big one. You have Fed, he's an extreme one, and I can name what probably one more person. Wait, think. You have what's her name? Rio. Rio is her name. Um, I could look up her name. Let me see real quick. And you have Titanium, Rolo. You have Kudos. You have what's the other name? What's his name? Is Titanium, Rolo, Kudos, and then somebody else. Like they speak about the game when it comes with effort, and time, but mainly effort. They have lore. They do conspiracy theories. They do cheating reviews. Like Varsity. He does cheating reviews. Fett does Pro League. Titanium does just Easter eggs and like lore. Kudos, he does lore as well. Like they get into the game. But a regular creator like fucking Uzi, for example, he's playing the game strictly for time. Time equals money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they get paid less or more, but you have to realize the game is not gonna change unless people change. And then if people change and the game doesn't change, it doesn't mean that the devs don't care. It just means that the game needs to be custom where everyone understands things have to be fair, you know? And no one likes fair. We all like broken, Buff this, buff that, nerf this, buff that, Like, I guarantee you, Siege knows that, but I ain't gonna lie, they be pissy sometimes. They be picky as hell, and they be they be seeing y'all what y'all be saying, but they don't be saying shit because that's just them as a person. But this to be on the topic of gaming, it makes you realize how people can really be devoted to a video game. Remember now, like I said, it's just a game, right? But people will go the whole 9 yards to go crazy on a game, make a game actually work. And it would make you realize once this game is out, people will love it. And they might not love us, but they'll love our product, And then you have the theory where people be like, whoa, this game died because this person, this game is bad because of that person. What do you mean? Because of he say, she say. No. It's just something that sometimes people don't want to change, People have their ways of being different. People have their ways of not trying to like give out their opinion without being judged. It's like no one wants to be judged over opinion. You know what I'm saying? So people are quiet. They are silenced. They don't want to say anything because it makes them feel less of a person. They don't want to be the monkey in the middle, keep getting picked on because he says some wrong thing. Like nothing's wrong. It's just, bro, you have to realize this is a game. People change. It's different. And also, when you want to complain about a game and still play it, people are going to make fun of you because you look stupid, And I'm gonna drop a name. It's old as hell, but kind of like Macy J. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it doesn't make any sense. And then he comes back, and then all of a sudden he gets a post camo. Hold on, the world just stopped. The world just stopped at whatever time it is for you. So it's like, what do you mean he quits? He comes back. He gets rewarded for the fucking camo, the post skin. What the fuck? There's a lot of people that needed charms. There's a lot of people that needed it. How? And you don't see any other game having lore behind it. Well, you have lore as in like comics, and you have mangas. You have all these animated films where you can look at them. But with Siege, it's literally in your face. It's in the game. These operators literally talk about it in your face. They talk to each other. They have cool kill lines, And let's just go there. If she wanted to be, like Apex, or not like them. Sorry, what? Not like Apex, but like want to be, a bit better, add kill lines, like, well, in a way, who said to add knives to kill, kind of like, CSGO, but in my point of view with kill lines, I've noticed with sins, when you kill someone in a like a cool way with the sense wall, she will like literally talk to you, like, she will say something. Ash, when you breach something and then you get a kill off your breach, or when you do something ashy, she responds to that with like she says something, when Callie kills somebody that she knows that like behind lore, or like a cool snipe, she would say something. And that's why I say with Siege, there's no other game like Siege. So why would you want to change the game? And I'm not saying, oh, keep it like that. No, like, it's okay to change the game, but once you strip Siege from its, reinforcements, it's, spawn peeking, it's you cannot go outside, but you can go outside. But if you do, you be pinged, you have your operators that are like alienists, you have weapons that are, recycled, but some of them are still good, like Pulse, UMP, got buffed, So all these things are happening around you, but you don't know it because you don't pay attention. You don't look at announcements. You don't look at lore, I kid you not, if a new gun on COD came out, you're going to know because they're going to promote the gun more than the game itself that surrounds the gun. With Siege, if a new gun comes out, they're going to probably promote the player who plays the gun more than the weapon. Like, why did these players get this weapon, Like, when Thorn first came out, Thorn weapon, it was literally, like, and that was one of the newest weapons we got was her. But we didn't care about her weapon because we already know it was good. It's high caliber. It has medium damage. But Thorn was the main one that we were talking about because she has that weapon. So once you compare and contrast, you have to remember you have to be fair. And even if being fair means making you sound less about what you trying to promote, you know what I'm saying? So it's like don't do that. Like don't be a bandwagon, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's gonna bite you in the butt. And I don't have no reason to say that or like any scenarios, but I feel like it happens to most of us because we will talk shit about a game and then we'll start playing a game for a very long time, and then we try to play the game, but the fan base we had the first time isn't the same no more because we left for so long. Like we left for so long. It's like I never thought you would be back here. So I just didn't really take a listen to like what you had to say, and like all of a sudden people want to play again. People want to take it serious. People care more about rank than a fucking tourney. Like, and I mean, hey, if you care about tourney than rank, I 100% feel you. That's money. Rank does not pay you. There's a fucking badge number. But reality, when it comes to people who actually grind tourneys, scrims, pros, they care about that money more than their rank. You know what I'm saying? So it goes a long way. Well, it's an actual stretch to say, I don't care about rank. I care about tourneys. I get money. I mean, you're talking cash, but how much are you talking? $20, $100, and if it's 100, it's like per month. Like, bro, I don't want $100 per month. That's my paycheck, bro. Like, that's my paycheck, bro. Like, I'm not working here, bro. Like, this is my and that's why content exists. Having an open mind, being variety, being versatile. Not only playing one game, being good at that one game, and then you can also play different games. Who did I see the other day? Alicia, she plays Siege and Apex. Who would have thought she would have had 5 times more the views on Apex than Siege? You know what I'm saying? Don't say, oh, then maybe if you had more views on Apex, play Apex now. No. If the thing is, people genuinely like that. They like when people branch off, being versatile. What? When Battlefield 6 came out, Uzi played it, Skittles played it, you know, like they had that experience and like they had views popping, not because of a new game, because they played the new game, you know? It's like any new game could come out, but if your favorite streamer, if your favorite creator plays the game, they're gonna wanna watch you play the game. They wanna see your experience, your reaction. They don't care about the game, they care about you, you know? So don't look down on people who are small and also like to watch you as they grow themselves, you know? Cause I'm not gonna lie, dude, I'm not even that big of a streamer. I still watch people as I stream. I kid you not. Like if I'm streaming and like, you know, I'm not talking, I'm on my phone watching Boko, I'm watching Ria, or I'm watching somebody play Apex or Siege, you know? At the least is Uzi, you know? In order, Uzi, Bolo, and then Boko, Rira, you know, Apex, that's Apex, and then, you know, Siege, and that's it, you know, I'm done. Then T-Banks, that's a IRL streamer, you know? There's nothing wrong with taking your break off video games, you know? That's my bottom line. But now, again, my point is just trying to not be an asshole and accept the future and not try to dwell in the past. But, you know, like always, have fun. GG's. Why not help them? It's impossible. If you explain to these guys why you do what you do, they just reinforce it or just kill you. There's no point. He reinforces it, so she's trying to leave and she can't. Why does he do that? Like, why does he do that? There's a whole door right there. He chooses not to. Why does he do that? Thank you. Just do that. Let me be trapped in here, bro. I'm more safer than here than anywhere near you.